Hello everyone, it's great to see you again on Football Planet, your football news program on Africanews. Events have been turned upside down in recent weeks by the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's go for the headlines. Who will play in the African Cup of Nations in 2021? The debate has risen because of the health crisis, and CAF has not ruled out the possibility of a postponement, while some people are calling for a postponement of the Cameroonian event originally scheduled for January next year. Also, the continental calendar continues to be turned upside down after the postponement of the qualifiers for the next Champions League and Confederation Cup semi-final. It is now the turn of the finals of these two tournaments to be impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Finally, we'll be on the phone late with a Cameroonian player in Zambia. Ntua Obasi Waters will tell us about his confinement in Zambian capital Lusaka. And as you will hear, the situation is far from rosy. More details on this right after this short break. The subject was almost a taboo until a few months ago, but the issue has been present since the beginning of the global health crisis. Will the AFCON in Cameroon take place as planned in 2021? For some African football personalities, such as Senegal's El Hadji Diouf, a postponement could be the best option. The Confederation of African Football is no longer ruling out a postponement because of the coronavirus, which is now the only master that decides everything. Breakenyu and Eric Tang.
The 2021 African Cup of Nations, scheduled for January to February, hangs in the balance. The tournament, though, is expected to return in the summer of 2023. The Secretary General of the Confederation of African Football, CAF, made this known during an interview with an Egyptian TV station. But will the tournament really be held in 2021 as planned? Well, that is for the COVID-19 pandemic to decide. One thing, though, is certain. CAF is no longer ruling out the idea of a postponement. According to CAF Secretary General Abdulmumin Ba, quote, if we finish the qualifiers between September and November, the competition will take place as planned between January and February next year. But if the health crisis persists until the end of this year, it is certain that we will have no alternative but to postpone. Not only can 2021, but all competitions scheduled. Former Senegalese striker El Hadji Diouf, speaking to Radio France International, wants a postponement. Quote, it seems impossible for the tournament to go ahead. Like most leagues, it is hard to stop for several weeks and for players to get back into shape. You have to accept a blank season and prepare for a new season. End of quote. The next two qualifying rounds of AFCON 2021 are scheduled for September, but everything will depend on the evolution of the world health crisis.
Indeed, everything will depend on the whims of this coronavirus, which has also forced CAF to suspend the semi-finals of the African Cup clubs, in addition to postponing qualification for the Under-17 Women's World Cup. And in logic of things, CAF announced on Saturday the postponement of the finals of the two continental tournaments. As a reminder, the final of the CAF Cup, whose semi-finals will oppose Aluciana Agadia to RS Bakene and FC Pyramids to Horoya AC, were scheduled for May 24th at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium at Rabat, Morocco. The Champions League match was scheduled for 29th of the same month at the Jopoma Stadium in Douala, Cameroon. The semi-finals will pit Zamalek against Raja AC and Al Wadada AC. COVID-19 is definitely too expensive for football, and it's not the players from Rwanda club Espoir FC who will say otherwise, as they have all just been sacked by their employers. The First Division club's manager have activated the force majeure clause included in the contract to legalize the dismissal, which are, however, only temporary. We don't know how long this will last. We didn't want to wait and put ourselves in a difficult situation. We told our players that they could return to work and this pandemic is over, and we asked them to try and keep fit, explained the club president, as reported by the Rwandan media. Espoir FC is the second Rwandan elite team to make such a decision after Musanza FC. The situation therefore remains very complicated, especially for footballers who are bearing the brunt of this global health crisis, and all of them, like us, are anxious to see the competitions resume as soon as possible. But for the time being, they have to make do with their forced holidays, often in confinement. We are delighted to have a former Cameroonian under-17 international, Ntwe Obasi Waters, who is currently playing for Lusaka Ndanamo in Zambia, where the championship's also suspended. Welcome to the show, Ntwe. So how are you coping with a situation that nobody expected 3 months ago?
Okay, at the moment, this is because everything is not moving in order, and some people are just stuck somewhere. They don't have a solution, so the situation is really boring because you're just home, nowhere to go, nothing to do. So it's not that easy.
It's not easy for sure, but what do you miss the most right now? Country or family?
I miss my job. Yeah, because there's no job. Without the job, you can't put food on the table. So job comes first before. Without job, you can't take care of the family. But at the moment, I miss the two because when you're lonely and boring, you must think about your family all the time. So at the moment, it's the two of them, but my job comes first.
Yes, I imagine you're anxious to get on with your life, but do you have any idea when all this might end, even though we know it all depends on how the crisis evolves?
Well, I really expect that without this situation, by now we'll be thinking about ending it and planning to go home to see the family. But the situation come up, we don't have a choice. But as for right now, up to now, situation like heads or tail because they are not giving us any information when the situation is going to end. So at the moment, we don't really know when the situation will end. We just stay at home and stay safe. So at the moment, that's what we are just doing.
I feel sorry really, Ntwe. So what message can you send to Africanews viewers and to Africa in these uncertain and difficult times?
So the viewer in Africanews about the coronavirus, we just need to listen to what the advice the government they are giving because it's very, very important. Without life, nothing can take place. So the earlier we take care of our life, the better, and listen to what the government says and stay home and stay safe and all from the issues. So that's what I can tell everybody. Stay home and stay safe because nobody knows what tomorrow will be.
And the same advice we give to our viewers. Thank you very much, Ntwe, and a lot of courage to you. That was Ntwe Obasi Waters, a Cameroonian midfielder with Lusaka Namo, one of Zambia's elite clubs. This is a very difficult situation experienced by many of the players playing on the continent, as well as the fans for the big stars. One example is former Cameroonian star Samuel Eto'o, the former captain of the Indomitable Lions, made a big contribution to the fight against COVID-19 through his foundation, who distributed food and protective equipment to thousands of destitute families in Cameroon's major cities, a gesture strongly commended by the beneficiaries. The report by Claudia Nsono and Bridget Uwe.
Cameroon international striker Samuel Eto'o has led a major contribution to the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. The former Barcelona player has organized the distribution of supplies, health kits and water to tens of thousands of his fellow countrymen and women.
The main objective is to raise awareness among the coronavirus pandemic. We want to tell people to stay at home, to stay safe, and we bring them water, we bring them soap and some food, because we know it's a difficult time from Africa, it's a difficult time from Cameroon.
The Eto'o Foundation has put together a program to get soap, sanitizers and basic food items to 50,000 households in the cities of Douala, Boya, Yaoundé and Bafoussam. May the Lord bless him. May he move forward and have even more. He is our son. We say thanks to him because he's thinking of us. 50,000 face masks are also to be distributed, particularly aimed at the country's taxi driving community.
It's a very nice gesture from the former Barcelona, Inter Milan and Chelsea striker. The Blues club is right at the heart of the news despite the forced break due to coronavirus. And if you talk about it, it's above all about the future of one of his stars, the Brazilian William, who for the first few weeks has been putting pressure on the London club for a possible extension of his contract, which should end this summer. For the time being, nothing has changed and the player is not ruling out any options. Let's go to Latin America, whose confederation, like all the others in the world, has had to suspend its competitions. But everything should start up again in September. At least that is what CONMEBOL is hoping for. The 2022 World Cup qualifiers will begin from 4 to 8 September in accordance with FIFA's guidelines. The first 2 days of the South American zone were originally scheduled for March, but the South American football body had asked FIFA to postpone them until September. And with this, we bring this week's broadcast to a close, but the news continues on Africanews and Africanews.com. We'll leave you with these images in homage to the health workers, the heroes who are fighting to save millions of lives in difficult times of COVID-19. Have a great week. Goodbye now.